So the title of the video says, Ways ZYNS have impacted my life. But obviously I can't just tell you about my life because you guys don't know nothing about me. So I'm actually going to introduce the nicotine pouches. So section 1, introducing nicotine pouches. And if you see me staring over here, it's because the script is over here. I was writing for the past 3 hours. Nicotine pouches were first created in 2008 under the name ZYNS as a nicotine replacement product. They were manufactured by a small startup company, Nico Novum, a Swedish company which was started in the early 2000s by Carl Oliv Fagerstrom. When Nico Novum was first starting off, their main focus was to produce nicotine replacement therapies, or NRTs for short. The goal for the company was to create a variety of options so that people were able to get their nicotine while at the same time reducing their tobacco intake. Which leads us to the birth of ZYNS pouches. ZYNS pouches were first seen hitting the markets in the Northern European region, where countries like Denmark, Norway, and Sweden were able to get access to them. With the demand of nicotine pouches being so high, a company by the name of Swedish Match took advantage and developed their own pouches. Now that I went over a bit of the history and I gave you a bit of context when it comes to nicotine pouches and ZYNS, I think it's appropriate for us now to go over what the fuck are ZYNS? What even are ZYNS, right? So I wanted to start, okay, section 2, what are ZYNS? I wanted to start off this portion of the video by actually showing everyone what's inside of ZYNS. I'm back. Alright, so I'm going to open this ZYN up. This is just a lid and it says ZYNS. So I'm going to open it up right now. I only have 2 more left, unfortunately, but I could go get some tomorrow. Right, so it comes with 15. I can't really see too well, but there's only 2 inside. So this is what they look like. This is exactly what they look like, and I'm gonna cut it up, and we're gonna go over what's inside. It's gonna be kind of hard to cut it at the same time. Oh no, actually no. So I'm gonna cut one side and then kind of show you guys what's inside of it. So I cut it. Right, it's cut open. So I think it's focused. So it's like salt. It's like powdery salt, as you can see. What's inside of ZYN? And I'm gonna toss this out because I'm not trying to inhale this at all. So just in case you were wondering, this is what is inside of ZYN. Come on, camera, focus. That's what's inside of ZYN. I'm gonna toss this now. Now that the ZYN opening is out of the way, I want to tell you guys about what's inside most of the nicotine pouches. According to Google, you know, they contain a mixture of ingredients such as food grade fillers, sweeteners, and flavorings. However, since our focal point today is ZYNS, I'll briefly go over what's inside of them. And obviously there's ingredient list right here. It says nicotine, salt, and other food grade ingredients, which is not much to go give you guys. So I went on Google and kind of did a little bit of research again. I took about 3 hours, dude. I started like 8:45 and it's currently 11:56. And I did procrastinate a little bit, but I also worked on this and tried to be as original as I can. I didn't use ChatGPT, I didn't use no AI. I mean, I used Google and I used the YouTube video to kind of give me a bit of more context and more history and more information about ZYNS. ZYNS in particular contain white powdered nicotine, which is the nicotine salt we saw, food grade additives, fillers, a stabilizer, pH adjusters, non-caloric sweeteners, and flavorings. As of right now, ZYNS only have 5 different strengths. I thought they only had 3. I thought they only had 3 milligram, 9 milligram, and 6 milligram. But apparently in other countries, they have 11 milligram and 12.5 milligram. That's crazy. I'm from the US and the most potent ZYN we have here is 9 milligram. And I wouldn't even touch that. ZYNS also do come in a variety of flavors such as wintergreen, coffee, citrus, peppermint, cinnamon, menthol, and many more. I'll show you guys in a bit. I have some down here, but towards the end of the video, I will show you guys my collection that I have. You know, there's many flavors and strengths that you could choose from. You can get peppermint, 9 milligram, menthol, 3 milligram, whatever. It doesn't really matter too much. I mean, I guess it does if you're going to be consuming it every single day. With that being said, if you ever plan on taking them, please make sure that you're 21. I am 22 right now, but please make sure you're 21, right? And my recommendation, if you're not a nicotine type of person, this is your first time ever trying nicotine, I would recommend the 3 milligram wintergreen tin. I wouldn't recommend anything higher than 3 milligrams. Trust me, 3 milligrams is enough. If you're new, if you're starting off, 3 milligrams is enough. However, if you've already been exposed to a high nicotine content, whether that's from vaping or smoking, then I'd recommend a bit higher. You know, like maybe the 6 milligrams if you've been already, you know, exposed to smoking. But with that being said, now let's start off the next section of the video, pros and cons of using ZYNS. There's obviously pros and cons for everything. Let me start off by listing the potential benefits nicotine pouches offer. To start off, it can aid long-time cigarette smokers by reducing their tobacco and harmful toxin intake. It may also help them with their nicotine cravings. For the non-smokers, such as myself when I first started, it can help with cognitive function, energy boost, alertness, euphoria, and relaxation. Although everyone's experience is different, I can personally say that I felt benefits while, you know, using the nicotine pouches, ZYNS to be more exact. It is also an asterisk, safer and cost-efficient way of using nicotine. A ZYN can contains 15 pouches, as you can see here. There's 15 nicotine pouches, and usually they range between $4 if they're like discounted, like buy two get it for like $6, $7, whatever. But it's usually between the $4 and $7 range from where I am. I'm in Ohio at the moment. When I went to LA though, and there they don't have any flavors. They just have classic menthol, smooth and chill. Those aren't really flavors. Those are just kind of, I guess, flavors, but not really. There's no like citrus, mint, menthol, you know, the other flavors, the actual fruity flavors, I guess you can say. And then one last thing I like to add is that it's very discreet when it comes to ingesting the nicotine. You know, other ways is vaping, and vaping isn't as bad as smoking, right? But you know what's not as bad as smoking? Just not even touching nicotine, bro. Just don't even touch nicotine if you haven't tried it. So yeah. If you want to be discreet about your nicotine use, I definitely recommend nicotine pouches, ZYNS. With all that being said, there's no light without darkness. So now let's go over the negative side effects of nicotine pouches. First off, obviously it says right here, it says, this warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, right? And that's what I wrote here. First off, nicotine is a highly addictive chemical which can lead to nicotine dependency. Other side effects that can be seen with nicotine pouch use is potential cardiovascular problems. So if you have varicose veins, it might, you know, worsen it. It might give you bigger veins. It might, because it's a vasoconstrictor. A vasoconstrictor, you want to break it down, vaso is the vein, and then constrictor constricts, so it constricts the vein. So it's not good for working out. It's not ideal for working out. You want a vasodilator, something that opens up your veins, you know, so that's not good for the gym. It also can cause gum irritation and recession, so gum recession as well. So you can be like this, what's up guys? Yeah, I take ZYNS. No, you don't want to be like that. Nausea, sweating, and hiccups. Those are like some of the main negative side effects that come with ZYNS. But if you're new to nicotine pouches, I'd recommend to spit it out after 5 to 10 minutes if you aren't used to it. Or whenever you feel like a bit of nausea in your stomach when you first start off, I'd say spit out the ZYNS, get it and then throw it. Because you don't want to lead to the next issue, which is nick sick. Oh my gosh, bro. You don't ever want to be nick sick. If you're doing something very important, you don't want to get nick sick, bro. And I'm going to explain to you why right now. Nixic is a term used when someone exceeds their nicotine intake. Symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, dizziness, and sweating may occur when nicotine is taken in excess. Since we're on the topic of Nixic, allow me to give you my personal experiences with nicotine over the past 6 months. Section 4, my personal experience with ZYNS. How I first started was because my younger brother, he introduced me to them, and he's like, you should try it. And I was like, no. And I was like, after a while I was like, all right, sure. So I got my first tin, and then they were decent, but I had it in there for too long. I had it in there for like more than 5 to 10 minutes, which is what I usually have it in right now. Maybe I have it now, since I've gotten more used to it. I have it anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes, and then 20 minutes if I'm really trying to concentrate. But my first time, I remember it felt cool, it felt good. It gives you a very euphoric feeling. It gives you the feeling of, oh my gosh, I feel so good. Like, I don't feel stressed, right? So, but the first time I've ever been Nixic was horrible. Like, I was just like this, I was starting to feel dizzy. I felt like my mouth was salivating. I felt nauseous. I didn't want to walk. I didn't want to speak to anybody. You just don't want to experience Nixic. It's horrible. So if you ever do feel a little bit like nausea, spit it out right away for the new users. And then for work, if I ever don't have energy drinks, I'll usually pop one of these and then I'll be good. When I'm working, I'll feel more efficient. I'll feel sharper. I'll feel like I have a bit more energy when it comes to taking ZYNS. The downsides from what I've experienced, is the potential Nixic, spending like $6 a week, which is not much when you think about it in scale. It's like, what's 6 times 4? That is 24, right? Times 12. How much is that? Times 12. It's right now it's 12 o'clock, so I can't really think too much. And also, you build a tolerance pretty quickly most of the time, which means that you're gonna be more feeding off this. So you might start off with the 3 milligrams, but after a while, you're gonna be asking and begging for the fucking 6 milligrams and 9 milligrams, which is not ideal, because it's just not good to be dependent off anything. Caffeine, a person, drugs, like, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be dependent off this type of stuff. And I'm gonna wrap up the video right now. I have my laptop right here. I have my script, and it took me 3 hours to write and only 15 minutes to record. But since you guys are free to go off this little contraption I have, I don't have a mirror. If I had a mirror, I would have showed you guys, which I guess I could show you right now. Let the camera app have access to my camera. Oh my god, this is so dog shit. I hope you guys can see a little bit of it. This is so dog shit. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I'm gonna definitely show you guys my nicotine. Ow! The fucking scissor fell on my toe. My nicotine collection, guys. My ZYN collection. Pretty cool stuff, huh? Pretty sick. Alright, with all that being said, I hope you guys at least enjoyed something. If not, we're at least a little bit motivated. I will talk to you guys very soon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I did put a lot of effort into this fucking video, so I hope you guys did enjoy it. Alright, thank you. Bye-bye.